Good morning, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. This is the astrology of the day. Today is December 21st, and it is a Wednesday, and today is solstice. So I thought instead of moving through a rather bare garden and very cold, little bit of a wimpiness on my part, I thought we could take a look at the chart for the solstice. So let's take a look. Now, of course, the solstice is the time of the year when in the Northern Hemisphere, the sun is at its lowest point in the sky, and in the Southern Hemisphere, it is at the highest point. So it is the beginning of winter for us here in the Northern Hemisphere, and the beginning of summer for those of you lucky ducks down under. So this is the chart, and it is erected for Washington, D.C., which I usually like to put my charts till. We can see here that the sun at 29:59, that's pretty much 0 degrees of Capricorn. The ascendant is actually 0 degrees 48 minutes of Cancer. And so for the United States, the sun in Capricorn will fall in the 6th house of service, military, health and welfare, labor, things like that. Those are the energies. And so perhaps we know at this time there'll be a there'll be an illumination of that particular energy. Now, once the sun moves into Capricorn, is disposited by Saturn. We have Saturn here at 21 degrees of Aquarius. Saturn has finally, well, let's see, it's almost out of orb of squaring the nodes that it has been doing all of 2022 pretty much. So we'll feel perhaps a relief of that Saturn energy. Saturn in Aquarius sort of pointed to what needed to be let go of, what ways of reacting and responding, those ways that complicated and sort of like under the covers, not to mention the South Node in Scorpio as a release of karma around Scorpio issues, right? Betrayal, getting the rug pulled out from under you, trust, surrender, all those Scorpio things. So there were a lot of things that we had to let go of this year with the South Node in Scorpio. I want to just show you an interesting thing that's also happening today. Asteroids. I want to show you what's brewing with that. And I don't usually work with the asteroids for you guys, only because it just makes things look a lot more complicated. As you can see, we have a lot more lines. But one of the things I want to point out is when we add the asteroids, we have Ceres here at 0.46 degrees. It is opposite Jupiter in Aries, and it is square the sun and the earth. The earth will be at, when the sun is at 0 degrees of Capricorn, the earth is at 0 degrees of Cancer. So we have a cardinal square here, a cardinal grand square. And that is an energy of initiation, And so we are initiating a new path, a new way forward, right? So the old ways do not really apply to the new reality that we find ourselves in. And I think that we're going to have to really figure out what that is, because otherwise and we have to figure it out, and we have to figure it out fast. Now, my feeling about that, of course, is that we need to include the people who are most affected by the situation we find ourselves in, and that is children, women and children. So I really feel like this is a path of this new path has to do with how we treat women and how we treat children. I'm going to go back to the basic points here and just take a look and see what else is going on in this chart. We do have Chiron here in a sextile to Mars. This has been going on for a while now. Remember, Mars is retrograde, and it makes a yod to the south node of the moon. Makes a yod to the south node of the moon. Yods are the finger of God. God is pointing to something, so God is pointing to the south node. God is pointing perhaps to the past, being activated by the north node and Uranus here. And so we have still some things around the past that need to be looked at through this process. Now, the interesting thing is during this period, during the winter months, we're going to have two really big shifts in the energy. One is Saturn moving into Pisces, and Saturn is moving into Pisces and staying in Pisces, even as it goes retrograde in the latter half of the year. Saturn is going to be in Pisces. And Pluto is moving into Aquarius, and that's happened. Both those things are happening in March. Now, Pluto in Aquarius is only going to be there for a couple of months, so it's a little bit of a taste of what Pluto in Aquarius may portend for us. Pluto is going to be in Aquarius for about 20 years, so we have plenty of time to tease that stuff out, but it's going to be a whole new world, and very technological. And one of the things that we have to be very careful of with that is that we don't lose our individuality or our own creative spark. It's going to be very important that we hold on to our creative spark and utilize that creative spark and those things that we're good at for the good of the collective, So there's a lot of energy like that. And that is going to be something that we get a taste of this winter, or in the case of the Southern Hemisphere this summer. So it's almost like a preview. We're letting go of the old and we're previewing the new, but we're not quite finished letting go, because Pluto will come back into Capricorn, go back into Aquarius, go back into Capricorn, and then finally, I believe 2025, it goes fully into Aquarius, and there it stays for 20 years. So we still have some cleanup to do. And of course, Pluto in Capricorn has to do with oligarchs and plutocrats and all of that, whereas Aquarius is the group and the power of the group minds. Now, of course, there is a shadow to that, as we know, as any of us who've ever been thrown out of a group because we didn't agree with the group, we have that to look forward to as well. But that's in the future. Right now, we are seeing the longest night here in the Northern Hemisphere and the shortest day. This is the birth of the sun god. This is the solstice, when the sun stands still. And now here in the Northern Hemisphere, the light will grow. And in the Southern Hemisphere, the light will start to diminish. So there is a balance. It's all about balance. We have to try to keep our balance through this time. I hope you enjoyed this little video. I have my Capricorn painting here for the sun in Capricorn. And back there is my, I call it the Feast of the Seven Fishes, or Ona's homage to Pluto, to Jupiter in Pisces. And I received that in the mail on the last day that Jupiter was in Pisces. I love it. Thank you, Ona. All right, everyone, have yourself a wonderful day, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning, hopefully in the garden. If it's not too cold and I'm not too much of a wimp. Take care, everyone. Namaste.